So we have some business to attend to right now. And business is meant to attend to right now. And unfortunately, Dan has taken Ayreon, so we can't talk about how great that album is.
All right, let's just say screw it. Let's move on to May.
We're doing Best of April. We're going to start off with Dimmu Borgir, who had a live album, and it was incredible.
Oh.
Forces of the Northern Light.
Just tell me about it.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. They played with a full orchestra.
Okay.
For at least most of the night.
Okay.
They had some of the best versions of pretty much all of their songs that I've ever heard. I think it's probably the best version of Progeny of the Great Apocalypse I've ever heard. The whole album, like, it just shows, like, when you have that much pre-production in your songs, and you still find a way to translate it live perfectly, it really says a lot, especially for a band like Dimmu Borgir.
So pretty much everything came out perfect. Sound was good, quality was good.
Yeah,
and some of the best versions of the songs.
Exactly. It's what you would hope for a live album to be.
Okay, that's
so
good.
In trying to familiarize myself with more of the San Antonio metal scene, I came across Pedagogic by attending their record release party on a whim. Not wholly sure what to expect, I was very much impressed with the performance they put on that evening, as well as the EP for which they celebrated. Pedagogic projects elements of metalcore and djent, with a crushing stomp laying the foundation upon which their sound is built.
I'm here to deliver a message! This is finally done!
As the EP progresses, they integrate more variety, introducing melodic, dark progressive elements a la Tool and Perfect Circle, and later picking up the pace with a thrashier style a la Latter Day Slayer.
Can you deny the town? Or your mind will separate!
Coupled with the variety of their music is that of their vocals, boasting 3 distinct vocalists that cover clean, harsh, and all points in between. Everything blends together in varying amounts depending on the song, and makes for a listening experience that is, if nothing else, interesting.
Codes to the program, the words unto the earth, the arrogance of the human.
I'd like to believe that I've come across a band for every niche down here in San Antonio, and I feel that Pedagogic is among those that have the most potential for growth and crossover appeal, considering the fact that the underlying djenty stomp is the only real constant here. This EP proves their proficiency in treading progressive waters without sounding too eclectic so as not to sound cohesive. I highly recommend checking out this band, and I look forward to what they're going to bring in the future.
This world needs to burn, brought apart.
Number 2, we have Astral Doors with Black Eyed Children. Now, we're getting over 2 fears here.
Okay.
You are getting over your fear of the guy from Astral Doors. I am getting over my fear of creepy, dead-eyed children.
Okay.
So with that out of the way, it's a really good album. It's good to see Astral Doors back to doing this. I think their last outing wasn't that great, but I feel like this one is a real return to form. I feel like it's... Since they announced that he was actually leaving Civil War, I think this was a good step in the right direction for him to immediately go right back to Astral Doors, because I think he's bringing all the good stuff to that. And I haven't heard any of the newer Civil War with the new singer. I hope it's good. But for what we got right now, I just from the opening track, We Cry Out, I think that the album is great. I think they haven't lost a step, and I'm just glad to see them back. If they ever tour America, I need to see them. Because
I may avoid it just in case.
yeah,
Because you can get away with not seeing the creepy children at a show.
I can, unless they have it as their backdrop, in which case I'm screwed.
Long Dark Road's self-titled EP is my number 2 for April, and since I already did a full-length review on it, I'm just going to simply put the link in the information below and encourage you to go to thelongdarkroad.bandcamp.com to stream and or purchase it. Enjoy.
And finally, we have Life of Agony with A Place Where There's No More Pain. This is the first Life of Agony album in pretty much a decade.
Yeah, it almost made me forget what Life of Agony sounded like.
Well, they changed a lot over the years. This is not the same Life of Agony from River Runs Red,
No.
but it is pretty much the same stuff from Broken Valley. And I think that they sound pretty amazing. It's the same feeling I had when At the Gates came out with the new album, where it was like somebody chiseled them out of ice for the past couple years, but they tour constantly.
Yeah, like I definitely got a chance to listen to this one, and definitely sounded, it sounded pretty good actually.
Yeah,
so
I liked it a lot.
it wasn't something to complain about.
I know that the singer Mina Caputo is undergoing or has undergone. She's post-op now, and I don't know whether or not it really impacted the sound. Like I think it sounds pretty much the same as it did in 2004.
Yeah, it sounds pretty much the exact same.
Yeah. I don't know if that's one of the reasons why they haven't put out an album in a while, but even if it isn't,
it might be a possibility. But hey, good on them.
But I'm just glad to see him back. So, yay for Life of Agony.
Yay.
Yay, Life of Agony.
As we're now well past the 2-year mark of us doing the podcast and these videos, my biases have reared their head more than one occasion. And in reference to these top 3 videos, we now have a second artist to add to the list who has appeared on my top 3 videos more than once. Of course, Arion would be topping the list for this month, but to be honest, I found this album a little bit polarizing because it took me a lot longer to get into it than usual. That being said, I have a lot more nitpicks than usual, but they're easily shrugged off as always. Since the Arion formula hasn't changed much since 1995, I'm just going to run down a small list of my favorite things about this album. Incredibly solid cast of old and new voices. Stacked list of extremely talented musicians. Finally, a perfect use of Mike Mills' skills as Android TH1. Speaking of TH1, Starblade. The passage that introduces Russell Allen is reminiscent of the Barbarian from Electric Castle. Everybody Dies makes the Terminator film seem more fun, and the last 3 almost forgivable. Fun side note, the binary code sung during When the World Breaks Down spells out Trust TH1. And speaking of TH1, Starblade. Fleshing out more of the backstory. All the usual behind the scenes stuff. The incredible booklet art, including detailed diagrams of the frame and Starblade. And speaking of Starblade, everything Hansi Kirsch does on this album. Literally everything. He'd be chewing the scenery if there were scenery. The last track feels like a callback to Forever's monologue at the end of Into the Electric Castle. The story's ending, though not surprising, is cool and leaves room for more chapters to bridge the gap in the story. And speaking of the ending... What, were you expecting something else? Overall, the album is awesome, and I wouldn't expect anything less from an artist whose various exploits I find above average at worst. Definitely check it out. So those are all our picks for the top 3 albums of April 2017. If you agree or disagree, let us know in the comments below or on our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Shred Shack. Until next time, I'm Dan Mack. They were Pat and Reese. Keep it heavy, folks.